You can always make more money. I can always make more money. The problem is when your brain interprets the unknown as dangerous. And that's what our brains do. Our brains are here to protect us. And when you want to explore new ways of making money, your brain is going to tell you that's not safe. And it's going to keep you on your default path because your default path is what you've been doing and it's what feels safe. So, your inner protectors, those inner parts that are there to actually protect you, they love the default path because it's known, right? But what happens when the economy shifts? What happens if you lose a client? What happens if you lose your job? Does your abundance end there? That's the first question, right? Does your abundance end there? So, right now, our economy is crazy and it's shifting every day. It's changing every day. It's unpredictable. And so, it's really time to get off your default path. And I'm getting off my default path too. And so, I wanted to share 3 mindset hacks to help you get off your default path. And then we're going to add on to that get off your default path and make more money. So, the first mindset hack I want to share with you is that your default path is not as safe as you think. So, just practice getting off of it, right? And an analogy I wanted to share with you is a fox. So, if you imagine a fox in the woods, that fox in the woods needs to find prey every day. It needs to eat. So, it has to find its own food. Similar to entrepreneurship, right? So the fox finds a path that leads it to the prey. And then it starts going on that path until it can just find the path easily. And then it goes on that path a billion times. The path becomes really worn. And the fox understands that path. The fox can get to that path easily. The fox can find its prey easily. But what happens when the path is bulldozed for new construction, for new development, and the path is just like destroyed? The fox still has to get its prey. And by prey, I don't mean it is a predator and there is prey, but I don't mean when I'm comparing it to entrepreneurship, I don't mean that as entrepreneurs we go out there to kill our prey. I mean that the fox needs prey for survival, and an entrepreneur needs income for survival, right? So it's similar. So anyway, so now the path is screwed up. It's all messed up. There's no path, but the fox still has to get its prey. So it has to get off the default path. You see where I'm heading with this, right? It has to find another path. And so again, for you, like the economy is shifting now, it could continue to shift. You could lose a client, you could lose your job, but you can explore other options, more options for income now. So you can just ask yourself, what are other ways that I can make money? What are my natural gifts? What are my natural skill sets? And this applies to both entrepreneurship and people who have a job, right? And so you can explore what are some other paths off the default path to receive income. And if you were proactive right now and you were willing to be brave and courageous, how could you get off your default path? And this is really like creative, right? Being willing to be open, being willing to explore, being willing to create something. But how can you let yourself play with that and get those different ideas flowing and get those different opportunities lined up and make those moves towards those opportunities? I'm pursuing some new opportunities right now. And I think it can be exciting if we decide that it can be. But that's the first part, right? Is understanding that it's not always safe to be on your default path anyway. So practice getting off of it. The second mindset hack is And this is something I say to my clients all the time. Your clients or your job are not your source of money, right? And so when like that, let's go back to that fox. Like if that fox has been getting its prey for so long on that one path, it feels like the path is the source that leads to the prey, right? But your clients are not that source. Your job is not that source. There is a source way bigger than that. So if you think about it, if you think your client is your source of money, then when you finish that contract, your source is gone. If you think your job is the source of money, and then for some reason your job ends, the company makes a big change, you get laid off. I've seen the most talented people get laid off in the last year, right? But then you find yourself without a job and you feel like your source of money is gone. But that is not your source of money. Your source of money is God in the universe because money is a form of abundance. And when you learn how to get in touch with your true source of money, your grip on your clients or your grip on your job, it loosens and your horizons open up, your thinking broadens, right? And you're able to open your mind to many possibilities. What does God in the universe have in store for you? Mindset hack number 3 is remember that money is infinite and it's always available to you. And so on days when you feel constricted, which just happens to everyone, we all have moments of feeling constricted with money. Whatever it is, like for me recently, it was like when our home renovation bill went way up and I had a moment of constriction or several days of constriction, right? Whatever it is that can trigger that. When you feel constricted, just remember that even though you may have circumstances around you that are changing, your money source is spiritual and it has no end. There's no end to money. So once you accept that concept and you learn how to connect to money in that way, you can shift your relationship with money. And then the next step is, let's say you accepted, okay, yeah, money is infinite. Like, no matter what happens in the economy, there's still money available to me. Then it comes down to, what do you believe about yourself and money and that relationship with you and money? What holds you back from believing that you could earn higher? Just imagine what you're earning now and imagine earning higher. What do you think about yourself when you imagine that? What are the fears that come up? What are the insecurities that come up? Or maybe what are also the strengths and assets that come to your mind? Those are both part of the coaching process. It's like my job, one of my jobs as the coach is to work through the fears and blocks and also simultaneously push up your strengths and your assets so that you can see them, so that you can feel them, right? Because once we feel our own strength and our own power, and we also believe that money is infinite, when those two energies come together, that's when you make a money breakthrough. So when you can shift who you believe you are, that shifts how much money you can make. And the funny thing is, it's not just who you believe you are, it's who you actually are. So think about that, who you actually are. This is who you actually are. This is who you were designed as. This is who you were created as. And it's also what you've poured into yourself and you're learning and you're growing over the years. And chances are you are seasoned. You are high on the path of achievement. And so it's time for an identity shift. It's time for you to see yourself the way the world sees you. And when you can step into that, you can shift how much you get off your default path, and how much money you make.